Da-da-da-da. Hello and welcome to the 300th episode of Coffee with Karma. So, when I first started this podcast back in 2024, it's not been that long. I think it was about October 2024. I had no format. I had no filters. I didn't have the lights. I didn't have a plan other than I was going to show up and talk about writing books 5 days a week. And wow, that doing that for 5 days a week, it nearly burned me and probably you out. It was too much. And so we're talking some mentors. We landed on a 3 days a week plan. And then I mixed it up so that I'm on a different platform each day and then upload to YouTube. I used to go live on YouTube. Now I don't. So that whatever is for posterity's sake is a more cleaner, shorter version because I yammer. I cough. I do all these things that make the live version a little bit longer than what ends up on YouTube. And all these things, this is all part of the growth I've gone through with this podcast over 300 episodes, which is my longest running podcast. I've had several podcasts. None of them have even made the 200 mark. And here I am, episode 300, still going strong, still having fun and loving getting on this podcast and going live for you. I go live on LinkedIn on Mondays. I go live on my 2 Facebook pages on Wednesdays, and I go live on my Facebook profile on Fridays. And it's so much fun. I love it. But what I'm going to do today to celebrate 300 episodes is share with you the 5 shifts that I've made over these 300 episodes that have made today possible. Because you can learn from them too. If you can make these 5 shifts, you're gold. You will be able to be more consistent in your content creation, which is important for building up visibility and for clarifying the content that you have that'll eventually become your book. Hi, my name is Carma Spence, and I help executive coaches, business leaders, and consultants write, publish, and market client attracting books so they can grow their business. And I do it with the assistance of AI tools that help make the sloggy bits not so sloggy and gamification so that you're pulled through and actually complete your book. I want to help you become part of the 1%, and I want to change that 1% to at least 5, 10, 25% of all people who raise their hands and say they want to write a book. I want most of them to actually get to the finish line, including you. Now, if you're watching this on YouTube, please like this video, subscribe to my channel, and ring the bell so that not only will you be notified of all my new episodes, but also the YouTube algorithm will know, hey, this is a good video. Maybe I should show it to other people as well. And then you'll help me achieve my mission of increasing that 1% to 5, 10, hey, 300%. How about that? Even better, 300 episodes. All right, let's get to the first shift I made. From everywhere to focused. So in the beginning, I published 5 episodes a week and I published across multiple platforms. I was on Facebook, I was on LinkedIn, I was on YouTube, I was on X. Like every platform I had this going 5 days a week. And that kind of made me a little bit noisy, a little too available, a little too much. Now, my LinkedIn audience gets my very business focused episodes. My Facebook page audience, you, get something that's businessy but a little bit more fun. And then Friday on my profile, I do my Quirky Friday episodes. That's all new. That wasn't there in the beginning. In the beginning, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't even do 5 things. I just came up with a topic and started talking. Number 2, I went from winging it to plug and play. I don't remember when I finally did an episode where I talked about 5 things. It was just an accident. And when I did that episode, I was like, dang, this is really easy and simple. So I just changed the format to I always do 5 things. Now, some people have said, well, you just do 3. Well, if I do 3, then you don't get as robust information. And it also makes it harder to make it into clips, which I also use. This podcast, I repurpose as clips, which most people find my YouTube stuff through YouTube Shorts. And if I only had 3 things I talked about, I might get 1 good clip out of an episode. Now I get anywhere from 3 to 5. Better repurposing. So there's a sweet I wouldn't want to go to 7 because that would make the episode too long, and 3 was just too short for this format of where I wanted to be more than 5 minutes, preferably less than 10. I don't always make it, but once I edit it, usually I do. Sometimes it goes as much as like 12 or 13 minutes, but it's always less than 15. So coming up with a format, a repeatable, sustainable format helped get me to 300 episodes because it's really easy for me to come up with the content, come up with 5 things to talk about, and then just go. I can still wing it while I'm talking about those 5 points, but as long as I know what those 5 points are, I know where I'm starting and I know where I'm going, and that makes making these episodes so much easier. I have a format. Number 3, from quirky chaos to intentional fun. So I did start off wanting to have fun Fridays, but I was really struggling to come up with fun topics for Friday. I mean, I mean, silly things like pets and just all sorts of things, and it was getting harder and harder and hard. And you know what? Fun Friday's supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be hard. And then one of my video mentors shared this idea with everyone in the program I'm in. It was then called Chief Content Officer. It's now called the School of Money. If you're interested in that, let me know. It's led by Marley Jacks, and I can give you a link because it's an awesome community. I've been in it since the start. Anyway, she shared this idea of mashups where you take your topic and you mash it up with something completely off the wall. And what I landed on for me is I take a film and writing books and I mash them up. So, for example, a couple of weeks ago, I did Grease. I've done episodes on Nosferatu, on The Wolfman, on Citizen Kane, Mission Impossible. I've been able to pull lessons from these films and TV shows and make them relevant to my audience, making my Friday episodes fun for my audience, fun for me, and it also is helping people find me because they'll be searching for something. They're like, "What's this? This is weird." And they come in and then they're hooked. That's it. I reel them in and I hook them. Well, I probably don't hook everybody, but I hook the people who are my people, right? Absolutely. So find the fun in your podcast. If you can find doing your podcast fun, you are more likely to do it and makes it more sustainable. So finding a repeatable system for my Quirky Friday, again, made doing the fun episodes fun again. In fact, I started off with just randomly choosing TV shows and films. Now I switch a decade. Every episode is a new decade. And then once I've gotten to the current decade, I go back. So like every few Quirky Fridays, there's 1920s, 1930s, 1940s, 1950s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s, 2020s. And in about 5 years, I'll be able to start on the 2030s. So there you go. That's how you do it. You make it fun. Now, if you're enjoying this episode so far, how would you like to get a downloadable audio version and behind the scenes tips? Well, you can do that for just $5 a month by going to Backstage Blend. You can point your camera at this QR code so that you can go to buymeacoffee.com/Carma Spence And for $5 a month, you get behind the scenes stuff, extra resources, and audio versions of this podcast. I love my blenders. Come on and join me. All right, now number 4, from wobbly starts to ritual ready. And what I mean by that is at first, I didn't have a plan. I didn't have a clue. I just knew I wanted to show up and provide value by finding my rhythm and my ritual, right? So here's one of the shifts I did. When I first started, I didn't have a mug. And then I got my original mug, which was white and had the original logo, which is kind of like this one right here, the little coffee cup. And then finally I came up with that logo right there, and thus my Coffee with Karma mug. Now, why is that mug important? When I grab this mug and I put it up as I'm going live, I'm now in Coffee with Karma mode. Right before I picked up that mug, I could have been, oh, it's 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm tired. Okay, here I am. I'm going to go, welcome to Coffee with Karma. Having a ritual that puts you into the mood and the energy you need to be in for your podcast radically changes things. When you're showing up on camera, being your normal energy self can seem staid, laid back. So you need to bring your energy. You need to like hype up your energy, not be like crazy, but hype it up so that you're just a little bit more you. And that shows up on the camera so much better. And I just realized I didn't put on any makeup for my 300th episode. So sorry. Well, squirrel. Okay. So coming up with a ritual, it can be grabbing a mug. It can be putting the mic in front of you. It's sort of like a flow trick. It's just something you do that gets you into the energy you need to be in to be on camera. And do that every time. I mean, I don't grab my Coffee with Karma mug for every video I do, but I do have other things I do to start getting into that video mode. And if you can find your thing, it can be a candle, it can be a pencil, it doesn't matter. It's something little, but it's something that clues your mind into go into video mode. And number 5, from false starts to full momentum. This is the first podcast that I've stuck with this long. My first podcast, goodness, I want to say my first podcast was the Genre Traveler podcast. That was audio only. That was back in the days when I used telephone to record things. So this audio is terrible. And I found editing it really hard because the first 2 or 3 podcasts, I was really, okay, I'll go there. I was really anal about editing every single little and ah and misstep so that the audio or the video was perfect, as perfect as it could be. And I've learned that it's okay if it's not perfect. So now I still edit it. I still, you don't need to watch me coughing my lungs up, which I do every morning. Yay. You don't need to see that. You don't need to hear me repeat myself over and over and over again. You don't need to hear every single. So I do a light edit, which number 1 makes the episode tighter for the posterity version, as well as the audio download version. But I'm not perfect about it. It's okay if I flub every once in a while. In fact, now I've started when I really blooper, I pull it and put it at the end. And I have a little thing that goes blooper. And then it shows you the bloopers of the episode. Not every episode has a blooper worthy moment, but many do. And they're there at the end. So it's not an accident that I made it to the episode 300. These 5 shifts, becoming more focused, finding my rhythm, finding my joy, not overwhelming people, all these things have gone into making this podcast sustainable. So if you want to do something that you want to be sustainable for the long term, try out these 5 shifts. You'll see all 5 of them outlined in the show notes below, or at least in, highlight. Of course, you can watch this again or download the audio if you join me in the backstage blend at buymeacoffee.com Carma Spence. So Friday, I will be Black. Yes, Friday, Independence Day here in the United States. We will be celebrating our 4th of July celebration, and I will be here probably a little later in the day, but I will be using the movie, drum roll, Independence Day as my source of inspiration, and I will be talking about how to break your fears and claim your author independence. This is Carma Spence saying ciao for now.